Welcome to another episode of the Sipping and Tripping podcast, where we connect with amazing people. Today, we're going to discuss, the future of the podcast. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about breakups. I am your host, Desmond Black, and the person that's sipping and tripping with me today is none other than Mr. Danny Wolf. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Just was going up north doing some stuff, and then you told me you needed an emergency person. I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I got you. No worry.
Yeah, yeah, because unfortunately, I had a guest that I don't know if she fell asleep or she ran into some traffic, but I
Yeah,
don't, I don't, I don't know. She just kind of went MIA, so I had to
that's all
get a
right.
little stuff to a little fill in. So you was available, so here we are.
Yep, I made
So
time because you know what? This podcast is worth it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. And speaking about podcasts, the first segment is about the future of the podcast. Like I plan on still doing this virtually, but we are collaborating on having some in live person to person
Mm-hmm.
sessions. So you want to tell the viewers a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, all right. So, yeah, I'm doing a lot of technical stuff. I've been learning and trying to put together some extra tech so that we can have live ones where we're sitting actually at side to side or across from each other. And we can actually speak instead of doing the virtual situation,
Right,
which is,
right.
that would be a lot cooler and easier to talk. Um,
Yeah, it's a little bit more personable, you know what I'm saying? And and
yeah.
and, and like I think the vibe and the energy would just be so much different, you know what I'm saying? So
Oh,
like
yeah. Much more
yeah, like
casual.
right, right. Like I watch a lot of podcasts on YouTube, and I watch when they're virtual, and I see when they're live and in person, and it's just different. I think that when it's in person, not like you can reach out and it's like tangible. You can touch them, and it's just like you can feed off each other's energy. Whereas when you're in two different locations, you can feed off of each other's conversation, but not their energy, right?
Right.
Because
Plus,
if you
also,
don't share the
it's a
same
lot
space,
easier. It's a lot easier to have overlapping conversation because through telecommunication through this what we're doing right now, it's a lot more difficult to overlap conversation because then it just gets crazy.
right, 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 right. But either way, it's enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point, everybody know I love doing what I do. This is great, right?
Yep.
But I am excited. I am definitely looking forward to the
Yep.
in
So I've been
person.
I've been putting together. I have a bunch of high definition cameras, um, and then I got a couple cameras that are in focus, like real close. I have some that are like really wide, and then I have one that I just got that's pretty awesome. It it's extremely wide angle, so that way you can see everybody. So if we have wind up us and then like a third person, it would be an extreme wide angle, which is pretty good. So then I also have the camera changer, so that way there's
Right.
hotkeys so you can switch cameras, and then we wouldn't have to have uh, the two panel thing. It would just be one big uh, display.
Right.
uh, yeah, it's an idea. I also got a couple microphones, which is great. We can all have our own microphones, headsets, just like the real thing. I mean, it's
Right.
I remember I already showed you one of the pictures, and I was like, oh, it's like the real thing. Yeah, I took a picture, and it was
No.
like three cameras. It was at different angles of me.
Oh yeah, I remember. I don't remember seeing the. I mean, I had to go back and look at it. I don't remember seeing like the three angles. So I do remember you sending me pictures though.
Yeah,
So I will have to go back and look at that.
the idea is basically to have multi-camera, so that way we can switch between different cameras if we needed to. Like whoever's talking gets the screen, or if it's a
Right,
bunch of
right.
people talking, we could do wider shot. Um,
Great.
and I figured it'd be a lot better to do that because it's more like a real situation.
Right, right, right. So when you say multiple cameras, right? It's normally just three, right? Like one head on and one from each angle, right? Or is your setup is different?
Well, what I have is basically it's a wide angle one, and then you have it would be basically a host and a co-host if there's going to be that, and then
Right.
another one that would be on a guest, and then the
Right.
wide angle would be literally everybody all in one
Everybody.
shot. Yeah,
Right.
so
Yeah.
it's four cameras.
Yeah, I'm excited. The more we talk about it, the more because I know this. You've been working on this for like what 2 months now, right? Like something like
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
So I know a couple months ago when we first was talking about it, you had one location. Then you was like, I might have three locations, but one is more ideal than the other. So yeah, I've been
Yeah.
excited, and it's crazy. Like so my older brother, like he been planning to do live sessions on his podcast. So the
Mhm.
more I hear him talk about it, it makes me think about what me and you discuss. And I'm like, I just feel it. It's coming.
Yeah.
I just can't wait.
Yep.
Especially when we have different guests that come. That's more personable, you know what I'm saying? And like what's better than having good conversation with people? Good dialogue is great. It's
Yeah.
good for health.
And
You know
face
what
to
I'm saying?
face, like literally face
Yeah.
to face with the person, like physically there. That's the best way to do it. I also have a
Hmm.
couple. I have a couple wireless microphones that can get hooked onto people, so you don't have to have this thing right here. Because
Yeah.
not everybody's as comfortable with that. Some people just want to be comfortable and just be able to lay back and sit back on a couch or a chair or something like that.
Yeah.
So
See,
I have a couple.
I think I would stay with the mic. I don't know. I just like the feel of it, the look of it. It's like professional. It's just I like it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? I probably would go with this. I'll probably get me a new mic. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Because I love microphones. When I used to do music, I used to have like four different microphones, and
mm,
you know what I'm saying, record myself because you got like the phantom mic. That see, phantom mics are great, but it makes your voice a little bit deeper than it should be. So it almost sounds like you're not who you are.
yeah. But that's the
But,
thing. I have all of the equalizers. I have all the actual audio mixing devices to make you more realistic. Plus, you'll have your own audio device on the desk, so you can adjust yourself to how you
mm,
think you sound, and you'll hear yourself as you're doing it. So
right, right.
it'll be more customizable. Will sound more alike. I definitely won't sound it. I'm gonna adjust mine so I'm lower because I have a little high pitched squeaky voice.
Right. And as I'm looking at the laptops behind you,
Yeah.
it just I forgot to hit you up yesterday. I wanted to ask you because so I have a Chromebook, right?
It's not
That
even a real computer.
listen.
Keep
So
going.
I was gonna
Keep
hand it
going.
over. I was gonna hand it over to you so you can work whatever magic you can on the thing because what happened was my kid's mom, their job, they work with the Chromebooks and they was like either throw it away or you can keep them. So she was like, can we use it? I'm like, well, what's wrong with it? She's like, well, they said it's outdated. And I was like, oh, I'll just give it to Danny. Danny can work his magic and make it the best it can be. So we can
Yeah.
use it. We can give it to one of the kids or something. You know what I'm saying? They can play games on it. Like we just got to make it kid friendly. Why get rid of it? It's free.
Yeah, basically you're going to use a Chromebook as like a basic thing. It only has it's not a real computer. It's basically a gigantic tablet, so it would be a YouTube machine pretty much,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. For like
which is
my 10 year
fine.
old or something like that, yeah, YouTube or just like basic things for school.
Yeah,
Because I know they got Chromebooks in school now. He never brought it home, but I
yeah.
don't know
My
if he's
son
allowed to
had
or not.
had them.
So
Eh,
like I said, so even though he don't bring it home, but like when he is home, it's something he can learn on, and that's my focus. That's why I say yeah, we can use it.
Yeah, it's
You know what
always
I'm saying?
it's always helpful. I mean, why not? I mean, you could just use it for simple stuff because it boots up super quick, and then you could just look at it if you wanted to check the weather, or you wanted to check something on YouTube real fast or whatnot. It's good to have. You can't do anything heavy on it. There's no gaming on it. You can't word process on it. There's nothing heavy duty, but it's
Yeah,
still it's still good as basically like a separate tablet. It's fine.
yeah. So I'll take a look at it later, and and I'll see because I don't know what the brand is, nothing like that, But that's neither here nor there. I just like I said, I meant to hit you up about that. So I seen the computers
Yeah,
behind you, so I was like,
yeah,
hey. But all right, back to the podcast thing for a minute.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what are some of your thoughts and some of your plans as far as finding guests?
Well, so all right, that would all depend on what the forward goal is of your podcast situation because I I know it's all your situation. So your vision, you'd have to tell me what is the ultimate goal of your podcast. Do you want it to just be BS? Do you want it to be multiple different uh, Yep, the words are losing me, but
It's
different
how we age,
categories.
Danny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm getting old. So, so,
Aren't
so,
we all?
so then that would focus. A lot of it would be on Facebook. It could be we do advertisement on other people's podcasts because that's something other people do and be like, hey, you may like what we say. Oh, check out this person. People do that all the
Yeah.
time. Um,
Yeah.
and then it'd be good to grow it, but we have to figure out specifically what this podcast is going to wind up being.
So okay, so that brings me to my next question. So is would it would, or are we just focusing on the Sipping and Tripping podcast, or are we going to have where I have the Sipping and Tripping and you have your own podcast, and then we just some days it'll be under your brand and some days it'll be under my brand. Like, what are your thoughts?
See, that would be pretty good. So originally, when we were first talking about it and everything, this is little while ago. I thought, hey, it'd be really good. The sipping and tripping, you can have your own branch that you go down, and then gather
Yeah,
the people that you would wind up having, which is great. And then I could do the same thing. I could do more nonsense BS talk. It'd be different topics and whatnot, and then we can have collaboration to where we both talk, and then
right,
we have the people who would follow my BS, and then people who would follow your stuff.
right, right, right,
And then it would grow because then who knows? Maybe people were like, "Hey, you know what? This guy, I'm gonna watch some of his stuff," and then
right,
that'd be really cool. Or we wind up doing more of the collaboration anyway, and then
right,
we grow it together to where it starts as possibly two situations and then grows into one larger.
right, right. Yeah,
Could be.
so I actually like that better. That better, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like obviously my audience and your audience will be different, right? So it's like
Mm,
if you bridge the two audiences together, then it's great, right?
yeah.
It's like something we should be doing in the community anyways. Instead of looking out for self, right? If you work together, then that's how you prosper. That's how you everything becomes
It,
small and it gets bigger, it gets larger.
yep.
So
Exactly.
so yeah, I like that. I like that concept, no doubt, no doubt.
It's good. It's a good idea. That way we can grow together.
Yeah, there you go. Any podcast names come to your mind for your own, or just something you
Ooh,
had to sit
I had
down and think
I
about?
had a, I had a couple, but they're not. I can't say them because who knows? Someone sees this and then they're like, "Hey, that's a good idea. I'm gonna take that," and then
No,
they
no,
register it, and then I'm screwed.
no, no. I'm glad you said that, Denny, because somebody tried to steal my shit.
Yeah,
Because
but I told you before. I was like, there's some other people who have.
well, you said the title, right? The name of it, the sipping and tripping or whatever.
Yeah.
So so my older brother sent me a screenshot where somebody else had the same exact logo and the same exact title, right?
Yep.
So then I was like, hold up, and I was highly upset. So what I did was I went to their social media handles and I seen when it was born, and I seen that it started after mine. I'm like, hell no. So immediately what I did was immediately I contact in Washington D.C. That's where you do copyrights and stuff.
Yep.
So I want to know if it was copyrighted. And as of now, it's not. So this week I am going to make sure I do that so it'll be under my name. And I'm gonna shut whoever else down. If I see it on social media, if I see it on the internet, I'm shutting it down. That is
Yep.
mine. Because the crazy thing is, I had a vision in my head, and I was like, I either want like something with liquor or beer or wine or something like that, and a microphone. I already had it in my head, so I found one. I found an image. I found another image, and I can draw. So I was like, all right. So let me just dock this, and I put it together, and then I photoshopped it onto one thing because I'm like a basic entry level Photoshopper type. So I
Yeah.
merged it, and then I went and so I uploaded that to Paint, and then you know how you can put the words on it, and that's how I put the sipping and tripping on there. So it was
Mhm.
never on one thing, and then my brother sent me the thing, and it was in the same exact placement, the same exact logo, and I said, "You got to be shitting me!" Like that shit had me hot, and then like nah, it started like a month and a half after I started mine. I was like,
Yep.
"Yeah, nah, I
Now
gotta
it's a
finish that
race.
shit."
Now it's a race to see who registers,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
hopefully they're not watching this one, and they're gonna go register it now. Oh,
And
you just
that, yeah, that's the crazy thing. So that's what I'm saying. Tomorrow, so I printed out the paperwork. I just got to fill it out all out. And the crazy thing, it's this thick. I'm like, why there's so
yeah.
many papers? You gotta. So I'm gonna start filling it out today, and then I'm gonna finish it tomorrow, and I'm gonna send it out. I would think I'm gonna do like express mail though. because I need to get
Yeah.
that. I need to get on top of that because I already got like my shirts getting worked on. So I'm getting 12 shirts.
Good.
I'm getting them in like white. I'm gonna get them in blue, red, and black. The same logo, but like different color shirts. So when I get on my podcast, I'm
So
about to.
basically, the American flag and
Oh
black.
my god. well, yeah. I mean, because you can put them in different colors, and I wasn't gonna do green, and I just figured if it's 12, I could do 4, 4, 4, like that.
Yeah.
So I might not even do all 4 colors. I might just do 3 colors. I don't know. I just think it'd be cool to have a different, So when I get on the show, I can wear my shirt, support the brand, or not
Yeah.
support, promote the brand. And I got I should have brought it in here. I got my tumbler with the logo on it. So yeah. So
You gotta get like the beanie hat that has it on it. You got because that would be
yeah,
popular. Everybody wear
yeah,
that.
yeah. See, that's coming too. I'm about to open up a podcast store, so anybody want to get merch, they can do so. Like the
Mhm.
sipping and tripping, you know what I'm saying? So Rhonda from Rhonda on the Rocks, she does that, and it's pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of
Nice.
that's where my wheel started turning. She does that. She sells her merch and stuff. So
Yeah,
and she wears
because
it on the podcast.
you've been doing
So
great. I mean, I've been watching, and you every single time you're doing it, it's always something new. It's always something more polished. It's always something a little more flashy. And I'm like, all right,
yeah.
he's looking more and more real, more and more legit. I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
yeah. I like to show my ass, man. I get on camera, man. I try to look my best. So it's crazy because yesterday I was like, damn, I should have made a haircut appointment. Here. You know what I'm saying? Like, got to bring sexy back.
yeah,
so, so,
yeah,
so
I like it.
it's
It's
wild.
good.
No doubt, no doubt. So all right. So that's what we have in the works for the podcast.
Yeah.
So in this next segment, we're going to talk about relationships. You know what I'm saying? The ins and outs, the good, the bad, the ugly, the left, the right, everything about relationships. Because that's one thing people love to talk about is relationships and love, right? And yeah, it's just a great conversation. So we're gonna switch gears to that. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So let me take a sip of this right quick. I mean, you want to lead the way? You want me to lead the way?
No, I got this. We can let's see. There's so many things that we talk about relationships. I think we should probably think we could probably start talking about beginning of relationships. I mean,
Mm,
why not start at the beginning, right? And then we can
right,
work our way to the end of a relationship. So
right.
I
Sounds
think
like a
that
plan.
whatever in dating mode, what what should we expect from each other? And that you just meet each other, okay, and you're like, you're hot, you think I'm hot, all right, let's go do this, let's go somewhere, let's do something. How would we act?
Right,
Would it be more of a what type of courtship would there be? Because
right,
there's today's version, and then there's the back in the day version.
right.
That's massively different now.
But that's the thing. We don't live back in the day. So like the people that's younger than me or my age, and they want to talk about old traditions and old ideals and functionalities of things. I think it's crazy. I'm like, how are you talking about something that's obsolete? Like I think it's just super weird. Like before I jump on what you were just saying, like the
Yeah.
whole marriage thing. When people were like, oh, when I hear women say, oh, I gotta ask my dad. I'm like, shit don't exist in today's society no more, man. Like it's very few. You got to be somebody that was forced into the church or grew up in the church. I feel like because nobody's asking their father for their daughter's hand in marriage. I mean, maybe that's
No,
just from my
I
experience, but
know they're not, but what would be wrong to do that? Seriously, what would be wrong to have that respect?
it's just I just think in today's times, right? I just think that's super fucking weird. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I feel
It's just
like these days we have just completely destroyed any type of respect. And we're so used to disrespect now. We're so used to
mm,
just doing things because whatever, it feels good, or you think it's cool, or you think that's the way it is. All traditions have gone out the window. Nobody does any traditions anymore. Nobody does anything. Well, the traditions were basically there as a respect of
right.
how things were. And I'm more of a I want to be, and I believe more in of a traditional type of situation. I see people today, I see relationships today, and they're casual. They're bullshit.
Right.
You know, they're
Right.
nobody cares. Everyone's in it for themselves, and that's not a relationship. That's basically friends with benefits, or two selfish people. You know,
But we can take it further though. We can talk about marriage, man. It's the same thing. Like a lot of people look at marriage as the end all be all. A lot of people look at marriage as like it's more than what it is. It's from my opinion, and I had this discussion plenty of times on my platform, my brother's platform, or whoever's.
yep.
There's no difference between a serious relationship and a marriage, right? The only difference is once you get married, now you enter in a contract, which is a business. You'll become business partners. You
Well,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
of course. So there's two
So
different contracts, though. There's the contract
okay.
with God, if you
Mm,
believe in all that, and then there's a contract with the government. That's the one you
yeah,
sign. So
yeah,
that's the one that's the problem. The contract with the government is the one that's a problem. The
yeah.
contract
And the
with
thing,
God, that's not the problem one, because that's just
right,
honoring your other person. That's
right,
you're
and this,
choosing to be with them. You're choosing to honor them every day.
right, and this is my problem with marriage, man. Once you enter into a marriage, right, and you go into that contract, that you look at each other as business partners, right. I think marriage takes away, and I know a lot of people won't disagree. It takes away from some of the love, right? Because like I said, when you're in a relationship, you're in a serious relationship, you're always finding new things, and, da, da, da. And once you get married, after a while, after the fireworks and all that stuff, and maybe after the first year, then it's like now you're content, right? I feel like when you're in a serious relationship, for the most part, people don't get they're not content, right? Because now they always looking at marriage as the next step. Once they get to marriage, they're no longer looking at something like, oh, it's another step after this. They look at that as to being the final step. So they don't
Yeah, and then
provide as
and
much.
then they get bored because there's no more steps. And when in
Mhm.
reality there's actually a large amount of steps, it's just the hardest steps.
Right,
Nobody
right,
ever looks past the marriage step. They don't look
right,
at the okay, for better or worse, for the
right,
fights, the sickness, the all that stuff. They don't look at the all right, well, what if we lose a job or we lose the house and everything gets really hard? They don't look
right,
for those types of things because those are the hard steps, and nobody wants to do the hard steps these days. Everyone
right,
wants the easy shit. So they're
right,
like, oh, as soon as it gets hard, I'm out. I'm out
right,
of here. Go deal with yourself. And that's
right.
bullshit. You're supposed to stay with the hard stuff and the easy stuff. Plus, yeah, I've asked a bunch of people after they get married. I'm like, so what changed? And then they're
Right,
like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you did this whole marriage thing. You were all looking forward to marriage. What changed? And they're like,
right,
what? I'm like, what's different? They're like, well, I guess nothing's different. I was like, so what the fuck was the point? you
right,
know?
right. And I'm glad you mentioned that because this is the thing. Um, when you like love, like when you're in love with somebody, you talk about serious relationship and things of that nature. It's like it gets boring as fuck. It does. It gets boring as fuck. But
Boring is
but
good
it's
though.
I was just about to say it's good. You know why it's good? Because when and it's kind of going to sound like I'm contradicting myself a little bit, but this is the thing. When you're in a serious relationship, it's like you're always looking for your partner to entertain you, right? Um,
Well,
but
that's
but what happens when they get to the point where you're no longer entertained? That's when infidelity come and all that stuff. So when you talk about marriage, now you get to settle down with somebody. You know what I'm saying? And now you're not looking to be entertained because that's where that content comes from.
well,
That I was
that's
just
another.
speaking about.
Well, it's a big confusion.
Right.
I can. It's a massive confusion, and most people get confused with whether or not they're in love or they're in lust.
Right.
And there's a big problem. In love, it grows. In
Hmm.
lust, it dies. That's it. Because lust is a quick thing. It hits you hard, then it fades away. In love, what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to creep up on you, and then it grows as time goes. And
Now,
too many people are in lust. And then once they get married and all the magic's gone, then they're like, oh shit, what now? And then
right,
like, oh, and then they fight, and then that's when the real person comes out,
right,
and then
because
they're
it's
like,
gotten it.
oh, this is how you really are. Oh, I don't like this person, and then they're like, ah,
Right.
well, divorce, and like, yeah,
and
well,
and that's what I meant by that excitement, right? Like when you're in a serious or committed relationship, you're looking for that excitement. Once you get married, it's like that excitement's not there anymore, right? Because now
now
it's
the
like
work
you do
happens.
exactly now. Yeah, now you got to put in that work. right? It's no longer fun and games and really about enjoying each other's company and being up each other's ass. Now it's time to put that work in. And America in society these days, people are lazy. They don't want to work, right? So if you don't want
No,
to,
I
so
think a
if you
lot of
don't want
people want to work. I just think that people have been disillusioned so much that
to,
they
right,
think they deserve more than they really do.
right. And the crazy thing is, I just thought about something as we were just speaking, right?
Mm.
I'm gonna start looking at people differently. I'm gonna start looking at people like this. If you're lazy when it comes to your employment, your career, your job, that's how you're gonna be in a relationship. Because if you're willing to bust your ass for a job, then those are the people that's gonna bust their ass for a relationship. In my opinion, you agree with that, or you think
Oh
it's
yeah, no, no, you're right. No, yeah. So anybody who's able to see the benefit in working hard to get forward, and even if there's a bunch of people who'll be like, well, why do you try so hard? Why are you going for this and why you do that? I was like, well, because I have that ambition. I want to try hard. I'm like, well, what does it hurt? What does it hurt you if I try super hard? And then,
right.
so that's good that people will want to work hard with no reward at the end or an unknown reward at the end,
Mm,
because that means they're willing to do the work without the little carrot in front of them. And the
hmm
people who only want to do stuff for the reward, those are the people who are unfulfilled. Those are the people who get bored. Those are the people who
hmm
always are out cheating, out looking for the excitement, starting drama, bullshit.
right.
Always the same. It's the same story every single time.
Mm. All right. So you know what? I'm gonna open up with this question, right? Um. So, how does unresolved childhood trauma affect adulthood?
A lot. so, so,
Yeah,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
growing up, I feel this is a personal feeling. The more you're able to see other families interact, or even if you can't see that, you are able to see how television families interact. And I know that's not real. Television families aren't real, but if you don't have a basis of comparison to a child, it is real. Um, Once you see that, and then you have, growing up, you have unresolved issues. Let's say your parents were a certain way, they were very strict, or they're odd, or they told you can't do this, you can't do that. You're a kid, you don't understand why, so you just think it's horrible, it's mean, it's whatever. So, when you grow up, it's already burned into you. It's already in there.
Mm,
You realize, okay, later on, you're like, well, I know that was silly, but it doesn't matter. That trauma is still, whether you know it or not, it's right beneath the covers, and
mm,
it does affect how you see things in the future. I know, growing up, I had certain there were certain things that happened, and I thought to myself, I'm like, I'm never going to be like that. I'm never going to treat somebody like that, or I'm never going to be so quick to demonize someone like that. I'm going to listen as much as I possibly can. And I know maybe some people will watch this and they'll be like, nope, he's a liar. But so,
mm,
um, but realistically, I decided to be the opposite of what happened to me.
mm, mm,
So I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna just, if I get pissed off and I'm pissed off at one person, I'm not gonna take that anger and go to the next person with it, because that next person didn't actually do anything to me. I'm just angry. And that's not
right,
fair to the next person. That's really not fair to them. That's
right,
my trauma, my bullshit that I'm going through. Why would I attack them with something that I was having a problem with it? Because then now they have a bad day, they have a bad situation, and who knows, they take it out on someone else.
right,
It just
right,
keeps going. It's got to
right.
end, you know. But
See,
people don't have that emotional growth.
now for me, like unresolved childhood trauma, right? It like to touch on what you were saying, like it affects you in your adulthood is because it's like you when you face with traumas, it's like you're not who you should be or who you are 100%, right? Because you're
Yeah.
dealing with these roadblocks, you're dealing with this mental illness, you're dealing with all these emotions that is unhealthy, right? Now, if you wasn't faced with like traumas, now you can love more, right? Because Because when you go through traumas, right, what's attached to that is hurt, grief, sadness, things of that nature. So if you always think about hurt moments, or when you were sad, or you feel sad, or you feel lonely, or you're constantly depressed, or you got anxiety, you can't you're when you look in the mirror, you're looking at half yourself. So if you're only looking at half yourself, you can only give half yourself in a relationship. Or right in a relationship, not just
Mm.
being like a couple, right? I mean, with your kids, your parents, your friends, or whoever. So you're only giving them half. So that's for me. That's how it affects you in your adulthood. Your judgment is different, right? Because your mind is clouded. Your mind is focused on so many different things, right, and not on necessarily the right things. So that's to me, that's how it affects you in your adulthood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could see that. But that the hardest part is that you got to be able to learn. The most hardest thing anybody ever has to face is themselves.
Right.
You have to you have to be able to realize that you might be broken. That
Mm,
there might be something actually wrong with you, and you have no idea how many people refuse, absolutely refuse, to believe that, oh shit, maybe I'm actually the problem. Maybe there's something wrong with me. But
right.
more than likely, people are real quick to be like, "No, that person's a piece of shit. That person's terrible. This person did this to me. This person, I'm always, I'm a good person." Well, if the problems follow you around, there's one common denominator:
Mm.
you. You're the problem. And then, but people refuse to accept that maybe they could be the problem, and they're not going to change it.
Right. And that's what I mean. So you said the biggest your biggest critic, your biggest enemy is yourself, right? That's what I mean. So like if you're dealing with a whole bunch of abuse or traumas, right? Or these mental roadblocks, for lack of better words, then anything moving forward, it's going to be at a standstill, right?
Yeah.
You're putting yourself in checkmate,
Yeah.
right?
If you
So
can't get over
so
yourself, how are you going to grow?
exactly. So
How are
that's
you going
one
to let
thing that
somebody else get to know you if you can never fix yourself?
right. And part of fixing yourself, you gotta come to terms with who you are. You gotta define who you are, right? You have to learn yourself before you can learn anybody else.
Yeah.
So yeah, so all right, that's good right there. So okay, this is kind of relates to that, sort of. How important is good tone and effective communication within your relationship?
Good tone and effective relationship. I guess it's, I mean, obviously it's going to be a definite. You have to have good tone in it because uh, if you wind up bringing up a topic with somebody, your relationship, your significant other, anybody, your tone is going to set everything.
Right.
You have a shit ass tone. Sorry, cursing more, but so you have a shit ass tone.
Hey, it's cursing on here. It's no parental advisory on here.
PG plus 18, so then anyway, MA. So, but
Beautiful.
if you come at it with a shit ass tone, then what's going to happen is that that person is going to immediately become defensive, and they're just going to shut down whatever you're going to have to say anyway. So if
Mm,
you come after somebody and you're like, "Oh well, you did this," and then that's an attack immediately.
mm,
Now,
mm.
and then that person's going to shut down, and they're going to get defensive, and they're going to be like, "Well, no, you," and then nothing gets resolved, nothing gets
Right.
fixed. Yeah, and that so. But if your tone is, "Hey, I didn't like that. You did this." It's a different tone than "you did this." It's very
Mm.
different. And
Now, now I understand what you're saying about that. People shutting down if you got a rough tone. But see, I almost wasn't going to ask that question. But this is the thing. I have a different outlook on that a little bit, right? Because I think tone is very important. Like sometimes you have to come off as being uh dominant, right? In my opinion, sometimes you have to allow people around you to let you know you command that room, or you command that respect, right? Like so, I think tone sometimes it's necessary to have a rough tone because you want people to
well, in certain situations, yeah.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So like that's what I say. I have a different little outlook on it. Like if it's all the time and it's constant, and if that's the type of person you are, then that's a turnoff. And whoever deals with that, or highly submissive, which is going to lead me to my next question. But yeah, you just submissive. You just take anything. It's like you're a punching bag. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
It's like you and I could, as a man, I could never be that person. But when we was talking about tone, I think sometimes you have to assert yourself. You have to be aggressive in your approach sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
it's true.
I think it's very necessary. Now, what I was gonna say about the submissive thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, does submission or being submissive mean that you're weak?
Oh, well, I mean, what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah, yeah, you asked the question.
Okay, so I think okay. Obviously, a lot of people are going to say yes that if you submissive or you submit, then you're weak. But I don't look at it that way because I feel like let's look at it since we talk about relationships. Let's look at it in a relationship standpoint. I feel like in order to thrive in that relationship, you both have to be submissive. It's got to be some type of submission because just think about it. If you have the man saying "It's my way or the highway" every day, shut up, don't speak unless spoken to, yada yada, you're not going to thrive that way. So you have to know your roles, right, in your relationship. Sometimes it's about give and take, and a smart man will allow that woman to appear to be the dominant one or to appear to be the man in the house. A smart man, I feel like.
Okay.
So therefore, if you look at that, if you apply that knowledge or not knowledge, if you apply that concept, right, then that means you are submissive. You're submitting to that woman, right? You know, it's a saying. A happy what was it? A happy wife is happy life. So if you
Yeah,
apply
something
that,
like that. I don't believe that.
okay, but for those who do believe that, this is the thing. I do believe that though, because as I say, a man that keeps the woman happy, and you ain't got to listen to all the nagging and all the bullshit that comes with women. Your life is more at ease. You ain't got to listen to the drama. You ain't got to deal with the drama.
You know what the easiest way to do that is don't have the woman. Then you're great.
But yeah, no, you're not great because nobody in this world want to be single their whole life. Nobody want to be alone.
Oh, nobody
Family
wants to
do.
be alone. No.
So we're
But
not gonna
there's a lot of attitudes that make people alone, and then
that's
they refuse to, you know, what they'll do is
right,
they'll cope constantly, and then they'll be like,
right.
you know what, no, I wanted to be alone, or I wanted to be like this. No, no, you're abrasive, you're horrible, and nobody wants to be with you. And then they're like, no, I choose this. I'm like, yeah, not really.
So for the longest time, I used to tell people that men are the household, or not the household. Men are the head of the household, but the woman's the neck, right? So you might be the head, but the woman, they move it this way, they move it that way. They're the neck of the household, right? So that goes back to what I was saying. If you apply that concept or that notion, right,
Yeah.
and essentially what you're saying is that man is submitting to his woman. Now, I think a lot of times when people look at the word submitting, they look at it at its lowest form, and that's why I think people think that if you're submissive, then you're weak. Like for instance, what do they say? A lot of women they what do they say? It's the key to a man's heart and how to please a man.
Well, it's through food.
Food and sex, right? That's
Well,
what I
yeah,
think
of
about it.
course.
So you
But that's
please them
because
in the
no,
bedroom,
that's because men and women have different satisfactions. They have different
right?
ways of whatever. The problem is that most of the time it's always about we have to satisfy the woman. Fuck the guy. Doesn't matter.
Mhm.
We don't actually care if he's satisfied or not. As so long as he does what we want him to do, we don't give a shit how he is.
Okay. Now you want to talk about how to make a relationship full circle.
Mm.
When that man is willing to satisfy that woman and please her to the fullest, and that woman is looking to please her man to the fullest and to give him anything to keep a smile on his face. Now, when you have that kind of discourse, when you have that kind of back and forth, and you look at it like a game, you challenge each other in that manner. What's greater than that? It's a happy man. It's a happy woman because that woman is competing with that man. That man's competing with that woman to see. Let me. I love you. I know you love me, but I think I love you more. So no, I love you more. Prove it. And when you make it a game, that's when we talk about excitement and
Well,
being
yeah.
entertained. For me, if my woman is looking to challenge me about who loves who more, every day I wake up, it's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be that's my entertainment right there.
Yep.
That's keeping that fire lit, and that's keeping it. You know what I'm saying? That's that spark alive. Like, and it's like you can't get no. It can't get no better than that. It just can't. So
Yeah.
we submitting to each other. So no, I don't look at it as a weakness. I look at submission. And when you talk about relationships, I look at it as a plus. I look at it as a positive. I look at it as a great thing. I look at it as being, like I said, just being smart. You're playing chess, not checkers here.
Well, at that point, it's no longer submission because submission means that you're below the other person. That's a submit, submit. So,
I think
but
you look at
what
it
you're describing is partnership.
but okay, so see, when we talk about literacy here, when we break down the definition, it still falls under being submissive. You giving in to that person. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
it's basically the heck is the word um, reciprocal. You're being reciprocal.
Mm. All right, so look up the word submission and define it for the audience.
Yeah, you
I'm gonna
want
break
all
it.
right, submission. All right, here we go.
Yeah,
We got
yeah,
submission.
yeah. And I'm gonna break it down. Let's get it.
The action or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force or the will or authority of another person.
Okay. So you said it's a superior person. So in that moment, that if I submit to my woman, in that moment she's superior to me.
Yeah, yeah, but superiority doesn't waver. Superiority is always.
It's always what? Always?
It doesn't change hands.
Okay.
Superiority doesn't change hands.
Hear me out though. We talked about earlier how in a relationship, right? It's a contract, right? Now you're going in business with each other.
Yeah.
Who's the boss? Who's the boss? If y'all in business together, you both
Reciprocal
look at each other like the
usually.
boss.
Well, of
Uh
course, who's the boss? Here we got what we
Said
got.
ready to conform to the authority or will of others, meekly obedient or passive.
Oh yeah,
See,
she
I like her definition.
she, go,
I like her definition
she
better.
googled
I
it.
like her definition better. So let's
That looks
let's
like
read that very
opinion.
quick. Ready to conform to the authority or will of others. Now, that's what I was saying. In a relationship, if a man does that, he's being submissive. And if a woman do it, she's being submissive. It says meekly obedient or passive. Obedient. So you're being obedient to your woman. You're being obedient to your man.
Yeah, but here's
That
the
is
thing: is how
that's
many women truly and absolutely 100% respect men who are submissive all the time.
wait.
Those
Hold
are the
on.
ones who get used,
Mm,
abused, and chucked.
mm. No, hey, see, I'm loving this conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because, and this is crazy because this is a great replacement for my original podcast. Oh, because you got me fired up right now. So
Well,
listen,
I mean, I got plenty of content on this.
and look, it all comes down to that man, right? You said what woman is gonna like that or want to deal with that, right? And they're gonna chuck him.
No,
No,
who's
if
gonna
a man know
respect
how to
it?
play,
Well,
oh,
what woman
if
is
a
gonna
man,
respect of that?
oh,
None,
that's not fair.
none.
It depends on the man. It depends on. So now we talk about weakness, right? Now the submission part is not the weakness. What? So a weak man that don't know how to play his part and don't know how to be a man, a complete man, that's weakness, and that's where he falls victim. Because if a man
No,
know how to submit and say, no, listen, all right, so I'm gonna use myself as an example. Ain't no woman that I ever
do
been with gonna tell you, no, hold on. Ain't
that.
no woman that I ever been with gonna tell you, oh, they wanted to chuck me because I was being submissive. Now, I pick and choose, right? And like I play chess, not checkers. Do I submit? Absolutely. Like in a relationship, as far as argument, I'd rather
There's
not,
a
right? It's not,
difference between submitting and conceding. Submitting
no,
means you just
no,
let them conceding to be like, all right, I guess if you want.
no. At the end of the day, they go hand in hand because you concede, you're tapping out. You give up, you're tapping out. You submitting, you're giving up. So it all goes hand in hand. So you have to be a complete man to know how to navigate. That's what I'm saying. So a man that submits, it's not weak, and they ain't gonna get chucked by their woman because guess what? Once you get to that level of love, right? When we're dealing with feelings, all those feelings that if it's true feelings, that's going to outweigh all that extra shit. And let me add this: how many times you seen? corny, whack ass guys with the best women, and you sit there and ask yourself why or how.
Because they're paying for them.
See, that's what we say because we don't know. We're not in that household. We're not in that relationship.
Because they have, because of one of the reasons. Either one, they got there's a specific reason. It ain't because they're alpha male. It ain't because they're doing whatever. It's because there is a factor of that person's life that the woman is looking for specifically. And if you say they're whack ass guys, all right, well, it definitely ain't the looks. So therefore, what is it? What is it? Is it they got a fancy ass car? Is it they got a yacht? They got a boat? Oh, they can go live their life. And then what? They're off go fucking the hot guy and then while they're using the whack ass guy, use the whack ass guy's money, and then go get the fucking Chad dick.
Look, but from the outside looking in, that's what we say. We don't know what it is. I've seen a lot of times dudes that I look at them like, oh, they corny as hell or they bums. They ain't got no money. They broke. They ain't got nothing expensive. And then like these girls, that's like I look at it as being top notch. They fall for them. And
no, you know what they're falling for? They're falling for the excitement. They're falling for the entertainment of, oh, you know, I'm gonna fix this dude, or this dude is really exciting because he does this. He's a broke ass motherfucker and he can't do this and he's doing that.
Now, I have seen that. I've been around a lot of women in my life. I've slept with a lot of women in my life.
Don't advertise that. What's wrong with you?
So this, what I'm saying is, so men, right? That's around women all the time. They start to understand women a little bit more because now they hear them talk.
That's impossible.
Most
don't understand women. Oh, fuck.
But look, I've heard or had a lot of female friends that tell me, "Oh yeah, I do fall for those kind of guys because you know why? They ain't got shit." Now,
and you keep doing it.
I get to mold him however I want him to be. It's like play.
Then that's the thing. You want to mold that guy into it. No, you never mold it into what you actually want. What will happen is that, okay, I'm gonna stay with that guy. I'm gonna fix him. I'm gonna put him into the mold that I want. But it doesn't matter. That guy's gonna be ditched for the next guy who's already hot and already put together. You're like, oh, I don't care.
They are doing more than anyone else she has ever. See, I agree with that too. That's
what?
Because they might. It says they're like the whack guys, the corny guys, the weirdos. Like because
they're trying hard.
Yeah,
because they're trying hard, but that doesn't mean that they're going to wind up with the girl. Those are the guys in school who were the nerds, and they were working real hard to get all their education and make a whole shit ton of money, and then they never got hot. They never did the football, and they never did any of that shit. So then what they do? They worked on their career, they worked on their future, and then what? They got rich, they had money, now they have luxury houses, they have these fancy yachts and everything. And then once these girls were having all their fun with the football guys and the parties and the whatever and the drinking and being stupid, so then now they're like, oh shit, we don't have anything for ourselves. And all these fuckboys we've been around, they ain't got money. They're beautiful and they're fun to mess around, but they're beautiful. They're not getting nowhere with them. Because they're the top tier guys, so what the hell are they going to do getting locked down and settled down? But then what do? They turn to the ones who they never looked at before. The guys who did all the work to make themselves secure and make themselves rich and all that. They're like, hey, all right, well, I know he doesn't look good, and I know he's not really like, 6-pack and 6 foot tall and all that, and he's not super chatty, but he's got money. And that's what we're going to do. We'll just flirt with him, make him feel good, and then he'll give us money because he didn't have a top-tier girl like me. And then the problem with that is that they keep on thinking, all right, well, I'm going to keep doing this, and then the guys are simping. They're subs because they're submissive. They're little bitches, and they believe the bullshit, so they're subs. So then they wind up giving the girl all the money, and then what does that girl do? She takes that bag, and then she fucking goes off to Chad and goes fucks all them guys.
Hey, but all right, let me tell you this real quick. So this thing, those simps that you talk about, right? The simple guys, the guys we look at is like, what the fuck are they doing with their lives? Guess what? When it comes to love, I guarantee you they love better than the guys that's out here.
Maybe
the guys that's,
but is the person they're loving deserving of it?
maybe, maybe not.
Probably
Here's the
not.
thing. But this is the thing. This is the thing. At the end of the day, what does every woman want in life? It's the number one thing they
Money.
want is love. They want no,
Money.
they want love. They want to feel important. They want to feel like a queen, like a princess. They want that love, right? They want to feel valued to the utmost. You
Sure,
know.
that's what we
So,
won't believe.
so, so these,
What they want more than anything is security.
yeah, well, security, love and security.
No, no,
So
love is not security. They want security. It's
I
not the
said
same
love is
thing.
security. I said love is
No.
security. So these squares, they offer that to the fullest
No, they offer security.
in love.
Well, they can
Because guess
offer
what?
love. Of course they can.
So
But they
listen
don't
to what
check
I'm
every
saying.
box. They don't check every box. They don't have
That's
all
what I
that
was.
money. They have the love. Okay, they have the attention, but they don't have the looks or they ain't got the
So
whatever personality.
the people we look at as being squares. You know what? When we talk about traumas and shit, you know what they deal with? They deal with their own type of traumas where it's like, oh, I'm a square. I'm never gonna find love. I'm never gonna find. See what I'm saying? So they struggle with that, right? They're at constant war with themselves. So guess what? When they get with a woman, they gonna shower her with some genuine love, and at the end of the day, that's what women want. So they fall in love with it. Like, all right, let me ask you this: Have you
So
ever?
basically, what you're saying is that as soon as they find a woman, they simp for that woman. That's what you're saying. They simp for that
Maybe,
woman, and then what happens
maybe.
is that woman gets this inflated ego, and they're like, "Oh, he'll give me anything. I could do whatever. I could treat him like shit, and he's gonna love me
Good woman,
anyway."
a
And then
good
they do
woman.
it.
No, a good woman is not going to take advantage.
Yeah, well, a good woman would tell him stop.
No, no. All right, let me ask you this: Have you ever dated a girl that, appearance wise, you was like, no, it's not my ideal chick, but you fell in love with their personality, right? Or the vibes and that connection you had with each other was so strong. Have that ever happened to you in your life?
Uh, every girl I've been with was somebody that I vibed and physically found attractive.
So
So,
you never found a strong connection with somebody that you wasn't necessarily attracted to, like physically. Like you looked at them like, oh my god, she look good. Like she is the woman for me. Because I can tell you, a God honest the truth. A lot of men won't admit it. I've fallen in love. I hate to say fall in love, but
you mean you've
that,
emotionally fallen for somebody
there you go.
instead of
There you go.
physically fallen for
I like
somebody?
that. No, see, I don't even know if that's what it is because it's like for me, it's like when I lost those women in my life. It felt the same as it would if somebody I was like gung ho about, like somebody that I was like, damn, she is the best woman in the world. God thought of me when He made her, type of thing. And if you have that same connection and your feelings are the same, what is that? Because that happened to me plenty of times. Sometimes for me, it's their personality wins me over, and I might look at them like, damn, why do I feel this way? I question myself a lot growing up. Like, I look at her like, mm. But then it's like when I'm not with her, all I want to do is be with her. That happened to me plenty of times.
So you fell for her personality.
Yes, and that's what I was trying to say when you talk about these squares and these simps and these women that fall for them. The way I took it was you trying to say that it's not real, it's not genuine. Well, we can't say that. I think it happens a lot. When these simps and these squares, they give that love that she so desperately need or want. She maybe she'll fall in love with that, and then guess what? In turn, she fall in love with that man.
Sure,
And if
but
she a real woman, she's not gonna
how
take
many
advantage of
times do you see a gorgeous girl fall for somebody who's like that?
that. I've seen it a lot, but
Oh no, long term and actually stay with the person, kids and
oh that
everything.
oh that,
No,
that I don't know.
no,
Hey,
no.
listen,
Every hot girl you see with a guy who looks like he's a two, he looks like a giant big toe. You know,
you gotta say these things.
there's one of two things. Either one, she fucked up, she let him hit, and then they had a kid, and then now she's locked. So, so, or he's got mad money, and
Yeah,
she's for on there for the security. She's on there for the security because the money is the security.
I got you. All right,
That so
so
that's
let me
what
see
the
which one.
women want. They want security.
Let me say which way I'm gonna go with this because it's two things I wanted to touch on. I'm trying to debate which one I should go with first. All right. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead. We talked about marriage for a little bit, right? So in a relationship,
Sure, I don't believe in marriage.
me either, but it's not. We're not talking about marriage. I was saying like in a relationship, what should be the ultimate goal?
Ultimate goal.
Mm-hmm.
I think the end all goal would be to be the other person's other half. And I know that sounds stupid, but I mean, like,
It did sound pretty stupid though.
yeah, it is because everybody. I mean, you see YouTube videos, you see all these videos, you see old couples, old married couples, all right? And what is it always? It's always the most adorable old couple. All right?
Mm.
You know, they piss each other off. They hate each other, but secretly they love each other absolutely. And you can see it. Even when they say, "Oh, you know, it's the woman," she'd be like, "Oh, Harold, he goes and he just sits there, he just drinks his beers and farts all day." And then he turns around and goes, "Yeah, you better shut your mouth." And but you know that wasn't real. That
Right.
what's real is that they truly love each other.
Mm.
That's what it means. Is that you can be the best friend and you can be completely open. You can say whatever you want, but you know deep down it is pure connection. That should be the ultimate goal. And I don't think a marriage needs to be
The
done to
ultimate goal.
facilitate that.
Right.
So you can still do all of that and be together forever and have that exact same thing. Marriage doesn't have to happen in order for that to happen. But I think that's
Mm.
the ultimate goal. Um, I would say the other ultimate goal is to outlive the other person out of spite.
You are terrible. No, for me, all right. So for me, in a relationship, the ultimate goal for me will be to, just constantly build on that friendship. Just because you're in a relationship and you might love this person and she love you back, I don't think it should stop there. I think every day should be the first day. And I know that might sound corny to a lot of people, but
Yeah,
for
that's
me,
all sorts of corn.
but I think that should be the ultimate goal. Every day you just build on that friendship because at the end of the day, that's what a relationship is. It's a bond, it's a connection, it's that friendship. So if you continuously try to get to know that person, right, or find new ways to bring excitement or entertainment, like for instance, holidays. One thing I was trying to um, facilitate my relationship with is instead of like Valentine's Day, dedicate one day to love and sex and shit like that. Because if you think about it, essentially every day is Valentine's Day. So why
Yeah, I
am
don't
I
believe
going
in
to?
Valentine's Day. I don't like somebody telling me a
And that's what I'm
specific
saying.
day that I have to show somebody it. I would prefer to show that person on random times or every
That's what I'm saying.
day. I
I,
don't want to be told a day that something has to happen.
right. So that's what I'm saying. Same thing with any holiday, in my opinion. I feel like the things you do on these holidays, you should be doing every day anyway. So I think
Yeah,
on
like
holidays,
Halloween, it should be every day.
so but like Valentine's Day, I think on Valentine's Day, what I want to start doing is just make like Valentine's resolutions like you would do for New Year's. And I said that on one of my podcast episodes. If you sit there and say, if you look at Valentine's Day and you say, you know what? It's not about gift giving. It's not about having sex. We do that anyways. Let's use Valentine's Day as a day that we sit down and say, what do we want to improve in? Or what can we do better? Or where areas have we lacked so we can improve on that? I
Oh,
think
so you want to do
Valentine's
Valentine's Day on a fight? That's what you
no,
want to do.
no. Listen,
You want to end
listen,
Valentine's Day with a fight about how did you fuck up? What can we do?
but like
You like me
okay,
fuck up? No, it's you.
you're
Back and
terrible. I think it's a good concept, man,
I
because you
see.
think
I
about it,
see
man,
the
like
premise. You're right. You're right.
because like we spend a lot of money. They make billions of dollars on Valentine's Day because people like, oh, I gotta run out on this day to go get flowers and roses and gifts and candies
Yeah,
and
and
teddy bears,
bullshit.
and then the shit go in the garbage anyways. Like the roses, they die quickly. The candies you wind up giving to your kids, or you go to work and you put them in the bowl for everybody else to eat. So basically, you supporting the community.
Yeah,
And then you get these
right.
stuffed animals, and then like a couple months, where those stuffed animals at? because you either don't have kids to sit there and pass along to them, or
Yep.
you have or you have kids and it's like they
Or,
got a lot of stuff
or
they
you're,
want.
or I don't know, or maybe you're doing it wrong. Maybe you're doing it consumer wise. Maybe on Valentine's Day you go out and you plant a tree.
What the fuck? Plant a tree?
Why not? It'll be a symbol of your love and it'll grow. And the stronger it gets, the stronger you get. Come on, you're doing it wrong. And it's alive. Well, what? Anywhere. Plant the freaking tree. Do something nice. As a couple, go out and like feed homeless or something like that, because that's a memory and it's positive and you don't throw it in the trash. You're doing it wrong.
Now, in a relationship, if you sit there and say, "Oh, let's do something like that. Let's give back," instead of looking to receive, I'm all for that. And I encourage people to have that kind of mindset. Let's give back on Valentine's Day and stop looking to receive.
Yeah, do
like
for
that.
others, because it doesn't just happen to be. It doesn't just have to be.
Look,
Your partner who receives it. Valentine's love for all.
right.
There you go, Allison. That's right.
I don't know if she's saying for you or for me, but we kind of collaborated on that together. So I want my flowers.
Yeah, you get your flowers. Don't worry. You'll get your flowers. I'll send them to you.
Oh, wow. That's
still hey, man love is still love. Come on.
Shit, that's kind of weird, man. Make my hair stand up. No, that's not even worse. If I say my hair stood up, right?
Yeah, then you're aroused by it. That's where it goes weird, man. You made it weird.
Hold on, Chef. What are you saying no to, Chef? Hey, Chef, please elaborate.
What are you saying
no to?
Come on.
I bet you he gonna sit there and say no.
Of course he's delayed. There we go. That's not real. What's not real? Come on, elaborate.
It's not real. Hey, mine's delayed because you got it before I got it. That's crazy.
Well, I'm watching the live stream.
So, all right, yeah.
Yeah, I can respond faster than you can do it. I'm responding to the live audience. Man love. There we go.
Man love. Why isn't it? You just
man love isn't real. Bullshit. Man love isn't real. Come on, I can have love.
Hold up, Danny. He just attended a men's ministry, and he gonna say man love ain't real. That don't make sense, bro.
Soft love. No.
You soft then.
Oh, all right, wait a minute. Hold on, then. Wait. Whoa, Chef. I'm not talking about hardcore, okay? That is something very different that I do not subscribe to, and I don't think he does either. So
hell no. So I was trying to see if he's gonna comment before I ask the next question.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I know he says he's joking. Anyway, okay. That's all right. That was just 15 minutes of fun. All right.
He's like they just double team on my ass. Let me tap out. Let me submit.
JK.
All right. So hold on. Let me ask you this. I said, is kissing breaks during oral sex acceptable? I wish we had a woman on this platform today.
We have a commenter who's a woman. All right. Well, let's see. Chef, you might want to respond to this. So,
all right. So yeah, the question. I'm gonna say the question again. I said, is kissing breaks during oral sex acceptable?
I'm gonna tell you. Well, that depends.
On what?
On which way?
All right, so okay.
I'm just saying.
No, go ahead, elaborate on that. Like, why is it different? Oh, see, Chef said it depends. See, y'all gotta tell me why it depends. Because I'm ready to fire out the gate with this one.
Okay, all right. Let me elaborate on this by being as gentle as possible.
Yes, makes things more interesting.
So,
well, go ahead, Danny.
So, okay. I commend any woman who goes and does that, who goes down. I commend them. Men are gross. So I commend them. They are real troopers. Okay?
Now, mind you, we talk about in a relationship now. We ain't talking about just...
I don't care. Even in a relationship, that Women are troopers.
All right, so
Okay.
I'm gonna say this then, man. For me, it's green light, right? You in a relationship. First of all, I'm looking at it like that's my shit. So if I get residue on my lip, it's my shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's complete lovemaking. You know what I'm saying? So this is the thing. You can't sit there and say, "Oh, top me off," or I go down on you and then you willing to kiss because you're looking at it like, okay, my face is already down there, so I already tasted it, right? So now I want to kiss and we're gonna kiss. It can't go one way. It's gotta go both ways. So if she top you off, you gotta be a man to be like, you know what? Let me share that shit. You gotta share that shit. That's that keeps your juices going. Like you be in the moment.
I
Like
don't know.
kissing is
So
great.
maybe I'm a little bit more non
Scared.
non adventurous.
I don't look at that as being adventurous though.
But here we go. I'm about to be blunt. She's sucking. I don't know if I can be blunt. You're gonna get flagged through YouTube on this. I don't know if I could be very blunt, but
Mm.
if she's down there, she's got a thing going on. She come up, she wants to kiss you. You put your mouth on some D. You put your mouth on some D.
But it's yours.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you made a clone of yourself, would you? Would
Now
you?
you're making it weird now.
No, it's the same question. It's the same question.
No.
Would you? Would you? Because it's the same thing. It's the same taste.
Hey, listen. See, I don't want to make this weird, but see, since you want to play these head games, don't play
Allison,
like this.
taste the rainbow.
If listen, if I was a woman, I'd fuck me. If you want to, since you want to make it weird, so
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, if you was a woman, yeah, of course, if you was a woman, but if you was a dude, would you fuck you?
Would you?
The answer is probably no,
You can't put
because
it like
that
this,
means something else, and we're gonna have to have a different talk.
No. Listen, you can't put it that way though. Listen, to me, it's acceptable because like your juices is flowing, your adrenaline is going, and let me ask you this: do you like kissing?
Of course.
So if you like kissing and we like fucking, you in the moment, it's just like rotating and switching positions. You switch positions in bed with a woman, right? So you switch your position, and guess what? Kissing is part of love, nigga. Man, listen, man. I don't give a fuck. You, especially when you shower, it's men that eat ass, like literally eat ass.
I was about to say, I'm like, would you go to Brown Town and then freaking go to kissing?
I don't do the Brown Town.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, why not? Come on, juices are flowing, things are happening. Why not? Come on.
No, see, that's a little different for me. I'm not because now it's like I'm not going to intentionally put my tongue with doo doo.
Where do you think your dick is? It is right next door.
It's next door. It's next door.
It's next door. The only thing stopping it are two nuts.
Look, listen, this is what I'm saying though. Just
They
because I'm fucking in my house don't mean I'm fucking my neighbor's wife. It's
no.
Yeah.
Well, you only have a wall separating you. but if you're knocking against the same wall, you know what's going on. It's right there.
Yeah, but I'm not going to Brown Town intentionally. Now I know a lot of dudes be like, "Oh yeah, shit, I'll take your girl there because I go to Brown Town." I'm like, man, listen, ain't nobody taking mine. Like,
hey, you know what? That's a preference, and there no kink shame. And that's some people like that. Some people don't like that. Okay, fine. It's whatever.
So if you had to choose, go to Brown Town or kiss after oral sex, which one are you taking?
Oh, there you go. Now we're gonna do either or, huh? All right.
Yeah. Which one are you taking?
If we were gonna do either or, God, it's gonna be terrible if anybody watches this that I know.
Uh-oh.
So if I were to choose, I guess I would do the kissing one.
There you go.
The reason why I would do the kissing one is because I know what I ate. I don't fucking want that. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I don't even want to do it.
Right. Yo, you funny as hell, man. You are funny as shit.
Yeah, nice choice of words. So,
So I got another good question for you, man. Oh man, I'm actually tearing up over here. This is crazy. so so do you feel guilty taking me time when you have kids?
well, that's I mean that's not just a kid's situation. That's a mental health situation. You need you time anytime. It doesn't just have to be with around your kids.
But I didn't say do you need it? I said do you feel guilty for taking me time when you have kids?
Nobody should feel guilty ever
Mm,
about
mm,
you time
right.
with your kids, your significant other, with your family, with anybody whatsoever. You should never feel bad about you time
Mm.
because
Now I'm glad you.
if you don't take you time,
Mm,
then who the hell are you?
right.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta work on yourself, and you gotta ground yourself and center yourself. If you can't do that, then what do you have to offer other people?
Mm. I like that. All right. So
Is
I'm glad you said your significant other. So you get a significant other and you told I just need time to myself. And she's nagging like, what the fuck does that mean? Because I know I was in a relationship and I said I need me time, personal time. And she was
well,
like,
it's all
that
context.
she was like,
It's
that
in
don't exist once you get in a
context.
relationship. She was like, once you're in a relationship, you don't have no me time. So what if you was faced with that? And that woman says, no, that shit don't exist in this damn relationship. Then what? Do you do
It's
you submit
context.
do you submit
No.
and conform, or do you sit here and tell her like, "Listen, motherfucker, like I need my me time. You need to get the fuck out of my face." Which one do you do?
First things
Like if you,
first, it's context.
mm,
If you say I need me time and you happen to be in a disagreement, that's bad context. If you say that, that's not the correct time to say that.
well, what if
But
everything's hunky dory?
if everything's awesome and you be like, hey, listen, I wanna I'm gonna go lock myself away or I'm gonna go do this thing. I just need some me time. Okay, well
Mm,
if it's only you, I would hope that the relationship would be grown enough to be able to for them to understand, okay, you know what? Us time is as important as you time.
mm,
And it should be as important because if you can't recoup and rediscover yourself,
right,
then there's no such thing. Because us, and when somebody tells you, oh, no, 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 there is no more you time, it's only us, that's unacceptable.
right.
That is
And
somebody
I
who is trying to basically erase you.
control you.
And that's the bad part is that when they start to erase you, they no longer see you as you.
Mm,
And you know what? They fell in love with you in the first place. And you knew who you were, and you knew you had you time to develop who you were. They fell in
right.
love with that. So if they want to erase that, then that means they want to end it. They don't
Mm,
want you anymore.
mm. I like how you put that. I love how you because like I come home from work sometimes and I just be like I just want comfortable silence. That's another
Well,
thing.
I get it. Yeah, you want decompression time. But the
Hmm.
problem is that here's the hardest part. We actually had this conversation. It was off podcast, but we had this conversation before, and um, you're everybody is should be entitled to decompression time. You work
Mm,
every day, you get screamed at, you get yelled at, you got bosses who are telling you what to do. You don't get time to think for yourself, do anything for yourself or whatever. You're go, 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 and everything. You get home, it's supposed to be your peace when you get home. It's supposed to be. But you get home, your wife, your significant other, your girlfriend, your whatever, is home, and they're home. Well, they also had the same thing.
hmm.
Potentially. I can't say that for everybody, but they also had the same thing. They had go, 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 go. They had the kids. They had to take care of. They had to go shopping. They had to deal with the asshole in front of them who was counting pennies because they had a coupon and all this. And then they're all stressed out and all that. Of course, they're stressed out. So they need decompression time too. So you come home, they see it as their time to decompress because you showed up. But
Mm,
then you also want that time to decompress. Well, the problem was is that neither of you spoke and allotted your own time for decompression. You both are fighting for the same exact time to decompress. And then at that point, who wins?
Well,
Nobody
I think
wins
it's.
because you start a fight.
Well, I think that like for instance, what I was just saying, when I come home, I want that decompression time. I want that me time. I want
Yeah,
that
well, she does
comfortable
too.
silence. No, at that time, no. If she's already home and I'm coming home, that's what I want. And she look at it like I want us time. I want quality time. And I'm like, listen, I just got in the door. I don't want no conversation. I don't want. Because me personally, after a while in the relationship, I get tired of the same old. How was your day today? That shit drives me insane. I hate it. Or how was work? I fucking hate that robotic ass fucking question. How was work? Motherfucking work was work. Why you gonna ask me every
So what
day?
you're saying is that you're bored of somebody caring.
No, that's no, hell no. That is robotic, and that's somebody being programmed to ask you the same questions every day. Like, no, it's other things we could talk about. To sit there and say, "How was work?" Work is work. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's all right. So I would rather somebody sit there and change it up a little bit and say, "Did anything dramatic happen at work?" Something like that. Just change it up. Change the song. And that's a different question in itself. Because guess what?
Okay, but then here's the question: Did you respond in a different way, or did you just respond the same way every time? Did
Well,
you respond with so did you start making things up to make it fun at all?
no,
Did you
no.
respond to the robotic question with an inventive or fun way? No, you
No.
didn't.
I answer
You
the
just
question.
shut it
You
down,
ask,
right?
no, you ask me a simple ass question. I'm gonna give you a simple ass. It's like, how was work? I'm
No,
like,
you
work
have
is work.
fun with it. You have fun
No,
with it. Say you know what you say? You shit like this. If it's so robotic and it's so that
mm,
make it fun. I mean, you
mm,
go to work. You go to work. It's the same thing every day. What do? You just get all sad and you're like, oh, it's kind of shitty. Or do you try to make it fun at your job? So you make it fun by responding and saying, oh, so someone broke in today and they were dressed like a freaking leprechaun and watch and see what they do. They're like, what? And then just
I,
keep making fun.
you know what's good? See.
I do
That's why I
that.
love. That's why I like this discourse, right? These conversations because I actually smiled when you said that. Because at first I wanted to tell you to shut the fuck up with that stupid ass shit, but as I was fixing my mouth to formulate those words, right, I said, you know what? In essence, all he's trying to say is what I said earlier. Look for ways to keep the relationship fresh. Because now, what you're doing, if you take that approach that you just said, and I'm gonna start doing it. When a man or woman take that approach and you laugh about it, you're creating moments together, and that is what
Yeah.
keeps a relationship going. Create those moments. Say the most outlandish shit, and that's the one thing I give. I say kudos to white people, man, because what y'all carefree and y'all think like that. Like black people put so much emphasis on the way we're supposed to be. We put so much pressure on ourselves, right? Because
And that's
I would
horrible
never.
because nobody
What is
should
it?
be trying to conform to an impossible image. That's
Right,
ridiculous. That's when you
right,
just should give up and be you. What's the
yeah,
point?
right. Like, yeah, I got you, but like I like that. It's like I said, initially I was gonna tell you shut the fuck up, but then as you was talking, I was like, you know what? What he's saying that means if I actually do that, that's
So
creating memories.
so I
You
have an example. I have an
yeah,
example. All right. And you should try this and you should anybody watching now live watchers or in the future people watching it in
people
the
watchers. That
in the
sounds
in
funny
the
as hell.
far future in the far future. So you know how everybody how you doing?
Yeah,
How you doing? Everyone, how you doing? And then everyone's what does everyone say? I'm okay. I'm fine.
yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
Respond horrible. Say horrible.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
see what the fuck people get really surprised. And then all the time the when I'm at the counter at Wawa, all right? People are like
Hmm.
hey, people are like how are you? And with a big smile on my face and a very very chipper mood, I say terrible. And then every single time the people immediately snap out of their robotic question and then they're like, what? And they're like,
Yeah,
I'm like, terrible. And they're like, no, it can't be terrible. And then they start talking. They start talking like they weren't talking to anybody else. And they're like, what happened? And then if you want to be truthful, fine, be truthful. Or you can, say whatever.
yeah.
It's fun. That person is going to now remember. They're going to be
Right.
like, oh, yeah, someone said something stupid today. and it
Right.
changed up their day other than their robotic, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?
I got you. I like that. I like that. All right.
You have
So
to create your own entertainment.
you're right, and it's memories, it's laughter, especially if you laugh. That's good. That's good for the soul. That's good for your health.
Yeah.
Being able to laugh. Um, Let me ask you this: if a man pays all the bills, right, he expects sex regularly. Is that reasonable in the relationship?
You mean like a whore?
No, not, no. What I'm saying is, say a
If a
man pay
man's
all the
paying
bills.
for it, if a man's paying for it, then he should be getting sex.
I said if he pay for all the bills, he take care of everything by himself, right? And in
Oh, you
return, he
mean
want.
you mean let all right. So this goes back to what I was saying probably earlier was relationships now and relationships back in the day. So relationships back in the day, the way I feel, and the way I feel now, how relationships should be, but that's just doesn't how it's not how it exists anymore. Is a man's job is to take care of a woman, your woman,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that they never have to want and they never have to worry about the world. It is your job to go out into the world and fight the world and go get your bag, go fight for your money, your piece of the world, come back. And then the woman's job is to take care of your man because your
Mm.
man is fighting for her to have an easier life. That is the 50-50. And is that do his laundry, cook, service him, do certain things. If he asks, okay, do this, and then just do it. Be submissive. Look
There
at
you go.
that. So be submissive because he's going out and he's fighting the world. He's making sure that you don't have to go out into the world and experience the harshness, the unforgivingness, the nastiness. Nobody gives a shit about you, type of world because
Right.
they don't care. Nobody cares. And that's what men are used to. Men are used to not get, people don't give a shit how we are. We don't
Right.
care about our feelings. They don't care about, all they care about is what can you do? What can you do
Right.
for us? What are we going to get out of you? But then the moment we turn around and be like, well then what are you going to give to me? Oh, immediately all of a sudden men are shit. Oh,
Mm.
men are terrible. And then their response is, well, you get me. What do you mean I
Right.
get you? What do you have? What do you get? And then you're like, well, sex. And they're like, oh, you're just a pig. Oh, you want a sex. Well, I just paid for your purse. I paid for your nails. I paid for your hair. I paid for your shit. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, at least I could ask for is, you try to fuck me. Fuck me when I want. And you wanna put up this whole fight of, well, I don't know, I'm not feeling it, I got a
Yeah,
headache.
fuck that. Fuck that. So I'm gonna add this to that. So this is should there ever be a time where a woman say, not right now, or I'm not in the mood, or should they ever turn a man down if she ain't paying nothing? If she not paying none of the bills and that man take care of everything, should he be able to say, I want it right now? No questions asked. Should that be a thing?
Within reason, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Within reason, I ain't gonna. There,
But it's
there
the
are.
least you can do. You ain't paying shit,
Oh,
I'm
it's
paying it.
literally. That's very literally the least you could do.
Yeah. Fulfill my needs when I want it.
Satisfy me. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Satisfy me because men are physical, women are emotional. If
Right.
we make sure that all of your physical is taken care of, because that's what men are about, we are the
Mm.
physical, women are the emotional.
Right.
We turn off our emotion to take care of the mental, to take care of the physical. Well, if the women aren't going to be doing the physical, well, they have the emotional. They can take care of our souls, our mental states. Well, then, okay, fine. Well, then take care of my physical. That's it. We like, all right, well, I'm having some stress. Okay, well then let's fuck. Let's try to fix that.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and do you know how much a guy would appreciate that? It was just a let's fuck and then no bullshit afterwards, no bullshit beforehand. Let's
Right.
fuck and and then all right, we're not going to do anything afterwards, or let's watch TV, or let's fuck. Okay, if you want to go outside or you want to play games afterwards, cool. Not a let's fuck and then let's talk about our relationship. No, you just added
Yeah.
stress. You know,
Right. So all right. So let me see. Let me put a little spin on it right quick. Right. So what roles should each person have in a relationship? Like, what role should a man have, and what role should a woman have in that relationship?
well, that's kind of what I was going at before. If this isn't how it is anymore because women have gotten bored and they feel as though they can become the men that they want, and then they go
Yeah.
out and find out that it ain't fun and that it's
Right.
not easy and that it's shit and that you're constantly battling other men who it's easy for them to do it because they've been doing it their whole life. And
Right.
then you also are battling other women who are doing the same thing you're doing. They're trying to prove themselves in a man world. Well, guess
Right.
what? Now another woman comes in. Well, now you have to prove yourself against another woman too. And then you're
Right.
like, oh, it becomes excessively harder.
Right.
It's easier for men to do it because we've been doing it forever. We're used to it. We shut off our emotions and we do our shit that we're supposed to do. Nobody gives a
Right.
shit. Go in, do your job, then fuck off. And then go home to your peace, which is supposed to be your woman. Your woman is
So.
supposed to be taking care of your emotion, take care of
Right.
your mending. Basically, you go out to battle,
Hmm.
and then the woman is supposed to heal you and put you back together so you can go back out to battle.
Right. So
That's what I feel the role should be.
the word that I want to extract from what you just said was the words "do your job." Job is the word. You said you should do your job. Now, when we was talking about marriage and we talk about that contract, and when you talk about
False.
contracts of business, you talk about business, right? So now, oh, false. Oh God, we're gonna get to that in a minute. We
I don't
talk,
know why he
so,
doesn't keep on
so
elaborating.
look, business, right? When you work at a job, that's your business, your place, of employment. It's a business. You have to
Mhm.
do the work. You have to do the job. So in a relationship, in a marriage, you got to do the job. So that's the word I wanted to
Yeah.
extract from what you just said. So yeah, like I said, it's not but a business. Now, he said, "I'm back. I didn't know you left."
Yeah.
What
You
what
didn't say
what is
BRB or nothing.
yeah? What is false, Chef? What did we say that is false?
Come on, we're gonna zero down on this.
Yeah, we zeroing down. I'm watching the comments.
Yeah, live. He's gonna disappear. He's gonna ghost us now. He's gonna make
Yeah.
us look stupid.
See, that's what I wanted the answer to. What's false? Since you say you back like the Terminator,
He typing out a whole thing. You have to
shit,
do the work of your own healing.
you have to do the work of
Well
your.
then, if that's true, if you have to do your own healing,
Mhm.
then what the heck do you need a woman for?
Right. At the end of the day, you can't heal by yourself.
And on top of that, how the heck are you supposed to heal your own self? Because if you were able to heal yourself, then that means you knew what was wrong. And but then what if you don't know how to heal yourself?
Bingo. It's a lot of ways we could go. Oh my God,
Your your
I'm off.
your wife
Yes, she
does
does.
not
Yes,
heal
she
you.
does.
She
Yes, she do.
should.
And
She
listen,
freaking should.
in a time of need, when you at your low, you need somebody to bring you up and uplift you, and that's what your wife should be there for.
Yep,
That
that's
is
what
her
you,
duty. That is her duty. That is her job. So in essence, she is healing you. People that need therapy and they go to counseling, they need healing. So that's why the therapists put in the work. They do their job, as we were saying, and they help heal you.
that's right. Preach it, brother.
Like if somebody pulls out a gun and they shoot somebody, now they got a wound and they dying out. Guess what? They
You
need
need
those
someone
doctors.
else. You need
They
someone
need
else
those
to
doctors.
patch
They
you
need those
up.
doctors, yes, to heal you. Let's go. I love conversations like this.
Oh, he wants to join. He wants to
Wants to join.
join. Oh no, this is about to be a 3-hour thing. We're gonna move right into 6 o'clock. We got an hour. You have an hour before we're to
I
our
know.
next one.
I know. I already told my guests that we're gonna push it back a little bit because
Oh,
it feels like I'm enjoying the conversation.
this
So
was a good one. Wow, bring the next person in.
that's crazy. I'm gonna bring them in too. This is crazy.
Chef, that's great. I never got to talk with him on. Okay, well let's keep going. All right,
Yeah,
while
you keep
he's
going
doing
while I
whatever.
fetch him in. Yeah.
So I feel as though your significant other should be your other half. We're built in pairs. We're built in this. So, but if you aren't in a relationship, you will need to do it by yourself. I understand if you're single. If you're
No,
single, I get it. You have
no.
you
Tag me in. Tag
where
air tag. So
go what
if
you
if you aren't in a relationship, you got to do it yourself. Hell no. Nobody can heal by themselves. It's just not possible because you need so like I said, if you're at your lowest, you need somebody to help you bring lift your
mentally,
spirits.
mentally and
Mentally,
emotionally. It
you
is way harder to heal yourself.
here we go. Like I said,
Yeah, we got it. There we go.
Steph,
Nice
you
meeting you.
messing up my background a little bit.
Yeah. Oh no, wait, what was that?
No,
That's
yeah,
wrong. Nope, worse.
yeah,
Nope,
no,
way
nope, nope,
worse.
nope.
What did you
No, yeah, I don't like
okay.
that either.
Uh,
So I guess I let it rock for a little bit, but then I'm gonna move it because now he's covered up by the comment. But so nobody heals by themselves, right? Because it's people that's
wait, chef,
spiritual, and they
say
said,
something. We
"Go
can
ahead,
hear you,
go ahead,
right?
Chef."
Yeah, you can hear me.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
So people that's religious, right? And they talk about that
Oh, we're
higher
gonna go to
power, right?
religion.
Right, because he is religious.
I know
So
that.
he not healing by himself. He's looking to God to help heal him and to
Yeah.
uplift him. Correct, Chef? I can't hear you if you're talking.
No, he
No,
ain't talking.
no. Listen, somebody. It's a lot of feedback. I can hear it's going double.
Oh no,
Well,
that's the rumor, man. It echoes.
I can't hear that.
Yeah, I can't hear it either, but it might be in your ending, Chef.
Wait, chat, can you hear? Oh, wait, are you on the live stream and you're also
No, I'm just no,
are you're not watching it? You're not watching it and also
no.
doing that? I mean, Allison, are you able to hear a double? Because I don't hear no doubles.
Yeah, I don't hear doubles either. But anyways, go ahead, Chef. You wanted to chime in? Go ahead and say what you got to say.
Nah, what I was gonna say is that no. First of all, the healing process
Where?
starts with you. You know what I'm saying? It don't start with your spouse because you have to be able to be comfortable with yourself. So somebody else can't really do the healing. They can encourage you and inspire you. They can uplift you, but you have to do the healing for yourself because it's the inner you. Your wife
Yeah,
can't
but
heal you.
that's the
She
thing.
encourages
Yeah, no, but yeah, well, that's part of healing. There has to be a first step, and the first step is encouragement.
Right.
That's the first step. So that's someone else healing you by giving you that energy to be able to be like, hey, you know what?
you.
What's up? What are we waiting
What
on?
happened, Chef? Yeah, I don't know. What happened, Chef?
You told us to hold.
No, no, God, I'm listening.
Oh, you told us to hold on.
Well,
We're
go ahead.
listening.
Go ahead, Denny.
So now I lost my train. Okay,
Oh
so
man.
that's all right. We'll keep going. So, yeah, that's right. So it was basically the your other person is gonna. Now you're giving me motion
My
sickness. You
bad.
keep moving me around. All right. So
My bad.
anyway, so you need another person to be able to bounce off of because if you're alone, you can't. A lot of people don't know how to self motivate. They can't do
Mm,
it. It takes a whole lot of very long term discipline in order to self motivate. Now,
mm,
that's why a lot of people they start healing when they go to church. You know, Chef, I'm sure you agree. You know, a lot of people take God and Jesus and whatnot, what you believe, and church, and they take that as a trigger to heal. And then same thing with your significant other. You know, that person should be concerned about your mental well-being and trigger you into doing better, feeling better, and all that. And I understand that your significant other also probably has their own problems they're dealing with. But if you two are a partner, then they should be able to put it aside for that moment and be like, hey, listen, you know, the main conductor of this relationship is losing his shit. Maybe we should get him back on track. That way he can keep everything on track. And then, you know, when she has a problem, okay, she brings it up, and then boom, the guys be like, all right, well then let's work through this. You know, that's reciprocal. But A lot of times these days, what happens is always me, 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 me. Everybody, it's always me, me, me. Oh, well, I have this problem. Or what about me? My problems. Well, all right, well, and then it never gets resolved. Everyone just wants to trauma bond.
Right. This is the thing. When we talk about healing, right? It's you got to have the necessary tools, and with like a baby is born without the tools, right? So in relationships, as we get older, we still need to be spoon fed those tools. Who's giving you those tools? Oh, he done dropped out on us.
Where did he going?
I don't know, but the thing is,
Leave it
what I
in
was saying
bubbles
was
because I've already moved my camera around.
so somebody got to still provide those tools for us, and where are we getting those tools from if that's not help? So you're not, it's we don't, nobody can do, like, you can't do everything in life by yourself. It's just not possible.
No,
You need some,
we're not. We're not built that way. He's coming
right,
back. He's back.
you're constantly going to need
I'm back.
assistance.
All right,
You're constantly
welcome
going to
back.
need assistance is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Right.
but we're also not built to be alone. That's just plain and simple. Our psyches,
Right.
our physical beings, we're not built to be alone. We're not built to be singular. We're built to be paired, and that's it. And then once
You got to be paired with the right person, though.
that's right. You always have to be paired with the right person because pairing with anybody is not the same thing. Yeah, sure,
Right.
you can pair with anybody, but it won't be fulfilling. It won't be
Right.
satisfying, and you'll never grow. And you'll just wind up slipping back into just destructive behaviors, and then everyone just turns into shit, basically.
Hey, this next question I'm gonna ask, I already know Chef's his chin gonna hit the floor, his eyes gonna roll back. But we before we went live, we discussed this question, and I feel like it's a great question to ask, right? So, Chef, well, it's a question to both of you, and I'm going to chime in as well. But is it okay to spend the night over your ex baby mom's house to spend more time with the child?
Man,
Think about what I'm saying. If it meant,
you only got to
if it
ask no
meant-
more. You just said, look, listen, come on, let's be real with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? First of all, you got to think about this. If it didn't work with you in a relationship, what is the purpose of you going over to that woman's house and spending the night? You can go over there, be a father to your child, spend time, quality time with your child, and then move on. But it's not going to do anything but prosper you to stay with that woman. Listen, you go over there, be a father, come back, take them, whatever the case may be, but then you leave because that relationship is over. You know, if you guys are not together, it's over.
Nobody said nothing about sleeping with her. Like, so
You said X. You said X. Spending the night.
Yeah, well, no. Spending the night that he could be on the couch and she could be in a bed.
But what you spend the night for?
Let's just say
to spend time with the question was is to spend time with the kid. You could be in this having a sleepover with the kid. It just so happens to be at the ex's house.
Oh, okay, you want to say it like that? Then why you don't have your own place where you could take your child to that location where you live at?
No,
that's more of a good response. Yeah, that's what I'm.
No, because your own place is with your current girlfriend.
I don't what that got.
So what? So what? Your current girlfriend should be all about you and your child.
No,
your child is a part of you. And if your current girlfriend don't accept that you have a kid, guess what? Time for a new girlfriend.
No, I'm saying, what if the baby mom's is like, that's the only way you can be able to see him or her?
Oh, that's a control situation. But then, you know what? There's also the ability to just go to a hotel or like a motel or something like that. There's that ability too.
But what I'm saying is, if your baby mom said, oh, you got the only way you're going to see him or her, you got to come over here. Now, what I'm saying is, hold on, Chef. Let me spin it to you this way. Let's just say,
oh, he got someone.
His wife.
Oh, love. That was
love.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
Shit. Look
at him. He's all smiles. See, that's healthy. That's healthy.
Hey, Chef, if you was white right now, you'd be blushing. You had the little.
I can see the smile. His cheeks would be all rosy.
He feel like $1 million. So
I'm blushing for him.
So look. So what if you told your current girlfriend that, oh, I'm going over there, yada yada yada. Let's just say it got late. You had all intentions to go back home, but you fell asleep, and now you go back home. Should that be justified with your current girlfriend?
No, you're fucked.
So you don't think it should be justified?
No.
What? But if you
you're shitty.
Say if you fall asleep, if you had every intention to go home.
I don't care.
Where's
You crash your car on the way home. If you fall asleep, that's what you do.
where's the trust in the relationship? I'm not saying I would do this. I'm just saying. I'm just
Oh
saying.
no, no, no. There's. You're right. Where's the trust?
Mm,
You're right. Right. Where is the trust? You said that. Okay. So then, why didn't you call your girl and say I'm tired?
oh, you know what? Hey, that's a
I,
good point.
it'd be like I'm tired. Blah blah blah.
Actually,
No, yeah, absolutely not. See, I mean, everyone's in agreement. Everyone's in agreement. We're all fucking against you, man. We're all against you.
I didn't say I was for it. I just thought
I
it
know,
was a
I
good
know, I know. I'm just saying the question. We're all against the question. You. Bottom line. Bottom line. Your ex is your ex, and you should not be spending significant time around your ex because that's it. And
Mm,
even if your child it just so happens to be around your ex, it's not a trust situation. It, it's it, it's just not socially correct.
mm.
That's it.
It's about respect, though. It's about
Yeah,
respect.
exactly. It's about respect. You want to build a relationship with your new girl, but yet your new girl knows you were
Right.
with obvious evidence you were with your son, your kid's baby mama. There's evidence that you were with her at one point. So
Right.
so therefore there was a feeling at one point. There was
Hmm.
love at one point. There was enough love to have sex at one point.
Right. Right. Right.
So therefore that's the why would you jeopardize? Why would you jeopardize it even for a second? Because if you're
Right.
willing to jeopardize that, then that means your new girl is not worth it.
Mm.
And
Okay.
that's not good. And that's a respect thing. Like Chef said, it's a respect thing. And you just disrespected your current girlfriend
Okay.
for a woman who you're not with.
So let me ask you this, Chef, you with us or you sleep? Because you like you
No,
you
He's
I'm
you.
sorry.
sleeping. He
No, I'm
texting.
good. No, yeah, I was
All right.
texting. Go ahead. I'm
All
listening.
right. Let me ask this. Let's say you're in a relationship, it's toxic, or you're going, it went astray, or it's estranged, or whatever. When is it time to move on from a relationship? Like you're in a relationship and it's rocky, but both parties are saying they really want it to work, and you spent months talking about let's what can we do to make it work. At what point, right, should you sit there and say, you know what, fuck this shit, it's time to move on?
That's a broad question.
Yeah, that's really big.
That's broad.
All
Like
right,
No,
you know
it
what? You
is.
know what?
more
I'll narrow it
detail. You
down.
got to be more. Yeah.
I'll narrow it down maybe a little bit. Okay, let's say everything's been really cool for a while, and then all of a sudden you all start fighting about little bullshit stuff. Now, you love the other person loves you, but for some reason, the other person just annoys the living shit out of you with everything they do, and then vice versa. You love them forever and you don't know what it is. At what point do you cut that off? Do you just say, you know what, this doesn't work? This
Well, that's
isn't
what I was
working, it's
asking.
not getting better. At what point of that do you just have that conversation with the person saying, hey, listen, I don't think this is going to work? Or do you try to actually find out what the problem is and try to fix it? So where do you just give up and say, I'm not doing this no more?
And that's the
But
question I was asking, because
is it a
a lot of people
relationship?
say,
Is it a relationship that's more than 2 years, more than 3 years?
So
What's it?
yes, let's say yes. Let's say
yes,
let's say
yes,
it's four. Let's say it's 4 years.
yes.
4 years,
No kids.
no kids. 4 years, you've been in a relationship with this person, and you know what I stand for. So it's just like you having sex with this person, and you're not even married. So where do you really learn that person? Where did you right
This
really
guy.
What you mean? You got you.
Well, let him have it. No, he's fine. I get it. Keep
What do
going.
you
Keep going. I want to hear it.
Let's look at the moral point of it. You listen, just because you've been in a relationship with a person, look, but let's look at it morally. That's why it's important not to just live with a person that you're not even thinking about getting married, because these are the things that happen, that can currently happen in your life. And so you got to look at it from that aspect. You can't just say, because now you're getting ready to hurt this person, or vice versa. You about to be hurt, and guess what? And that, what it's going to do? It's going to hurt the next relationship that you in.
Okay.
So then wait, you didn't answer it.
Yeah, no, he answered.
At what point do you just say? So basically, you're saying that you should just cut it off.
No, what I'm saying, no, definitely cut it off. But what I'm saying is that the principle of it is.
At what point? Reason, at what point you've been struggling? At what point cut it off?
If y'all start arguing and y'all been together for a long time, like, okay, now it's starting to be toxic. Guess what? Okay, now let's move on.
So right away,
so you're saying immediately,
like, because guess what? You have already started.
That's being a quitter, but that's
being no quitter. Like you may realize that I need to reposition myself and say, let me make a better decision on choosing the person for me. Because guess what? You're gonna be into a relationship. You're gonna have differences. You're not gonna understand one another 100%. But guess what? You have to understand it. You got to come to that understanding. Like, look, okay, let's fall back a little bit and let's look at what can we do. Like you said, what can we do to make it better? But come on, y'all starting to argue about little small stuff. That's an indicator that, you know what, this relationship is about to be over.
1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Do you give the relationship a year of going back and forth?
Small things is an indication. Women do it to us. It's a red flag. It's an indication.
What do you give, a month, 2 months, what? 2 months to deal with that.
It depends on what the argument is about. It depends. You know what I'm saying? If like he said, if it's petty or it's constant, like that's a red flag for men to say, you know what? All right, you know what? I'm not even willing to deal with this. Let me move on. Let me. And but now that you getting ready to move on, you gotta listen. Now you gotta start getting yourself together and say, all right, well, these are the things that I'm not going to tolerate. These are making boundaries.
So let's say we'll say a month of arguing about petty shit. You cut it off.
Yeah, I think that's premature.
Nah, not for me.
I think that's premature.
So what do you think?
For me, it's hard because I've been in that situation where I was at constant war, and y'all know, both of y'all know about my current.
Well, yeah, we do, but we're not gonna.
Yeah, we ain't gonna dive into that. But
I like you, D-Dub.
Look, it's just hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard because when you really want it to work, right? And it's an old saying. What I was getting at was, when you want something bad enough, you work hard. You do whatever it takes to try to make it work.
But if what you want and what y'all want, that's the hard part.
And that's why I said both sides said they want the same thing. It's just hard. And it's harder when you have kids. Right, and I used to be one of those guys that say, "Oh my God, I hate these guys that say I stay in a relationship because we got kids." I used to hate that shit, but having kids, and I know that that's a real thing. It's just that's a difficulty factor there. Like, it's like, especially if you don't want your kids around another man, and the woman said, "I don't want my kids around another woman." So it's hard, right? It's hard. So it's as far as when it's time to just call it quits. I don't know, but if I was trying to counsel somebody through this, what I would tell them would be, if y'all bumping heads about the same petty shit for 6 months, what I would say is, if I was counseling somebody, if it's been 6 months, I think that at that point, somebody stay at the house, the other one stay at the parents' house, family member house, or a hotel or something, and take a break, maybe like a month, and then come back to each other and see if that time, because they say, absence make the heart grow fonder. So if that absence don't make y'all more close.
Yeah, I don't know about that, because long distance relationships don't fucking work.
No, but at least if you've been in a relationship for a long time, now you got to sit there and separate yourselves for a while and see if there's still value left in that relationship. So that's what I would say. If you're going back and forth for 6 months, take a break for like maybe a month, and then come back together and just see where your heart and your mind is. That's what I would say. I don't know how
with conditions. You know what happens during that break?
Oh yeah, I'm fucking everything.
Yeah. She getting D everywhere, and then you are gonna just sit there because nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you put it that way, yeah, that ain't gonna
Yeah,
work.
yeah, that ain't gonna fucking work. You work on that shit and you fix it right then and there. And if it can't be fixed, then you cut that shit off like a fucking turd.
Mm, that's crazy. Hey, Chef, let me ask you this question, and then I'm gonna post it to Danny real quick. Is it fair to excessively punish a person after you quote unquote forgave them?
If you forgave him, that's it. That's the end of it. You
That's why I
forgave him.
said quote unquote. You know, a lot of people say I forgive you, but it's like when you're together, you might want to be mushy mushy, and they be like, So that's a sign of punishment. Or they might be like, or go sleep on the couch, or they might put a blanket, a pillow on the couch.
I,
So that's what I mean. Excessively, is it fair to excessively punish somebody after you quote unquote forgave them?
I forgave you, but I didn't forget. So doesn't mean that we're going to be the same way. And it depends. When you talking about relationship wise,
Right.
now if you're in a relationship, okay, I forgave you, but now if you're doing the same thing you was doing before, it's like so you're gonna get a different reaction.
Mm,
I'm not gonna react the same way I was acting 2 months, 3 months ago. It's like, wait a minute,
mm.
you still doing the same silly stuff. Like we just had this argument, dude. We just had this debate. Like I just
Right.
forgave you for this, and you still doing it. Like,
Right.
okay,
Okay. So the last question I want to ask before I close up shop for this one is this: do you have the ability, right, to say that you're wrong when you know you really wasn't wrong in the situation?
are you
So I
asking me?
guess,
Do I?
yeah, yes. Do you have the ability to say you're wrong, even though you know that you're not wrong?
No.
Like, say if your partner 100%, and you know that she's wrong, do you have the ability to be like, you know what, just to diffuse the situation, you be like, you know what, babe, I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So basically, submitting and allowing her to win in that moment. Do you have that ability to do that, or do you feel the need to say, if you know deep down inside you're not
Yeah,
wrong? Do you have? Do
do
you?
you feel the need to assert that you're right every single time?
To my
Right.
wife,
That's what I'm getting.
to my wife, no. But I look, I'm when she's wrong about something, I say, all right, whatever. All right, you'll see. I'll make a statement like that. I say, all right, okay, you'll figure it out. And I'm not gonna be like, I'm right, you wrong. No, that because you can't, you're not gonna be, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get a clear understanding when you say, whether it be the woman or the man, say, I'm right, you wrong. No, you're not gonna get a clear understanding. So
Right.
sometimes when we don't agree on something, I'll move on. She'll be like, oh, well, I'll be like, okay. And then later on, because look, watch this. And later on, she'll come and say, you know what, babe? Mm, I was wrong. I apologize. Vice versa. It could be times
Right.
where I think I'm right and I could be wrong, right? And I go to her, I said, Dad, babe, you know what? I ain't looking at it like that. You was right though. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
So
so it,
so
Right.
your answer is pretty much you do have the ability to say you were wrong when you were definitely right by basically saying we're gonna put a pin in this and move on from it and then have them come back with the correct answer later.
I mean, you got to give a other person. Like I said, it depends on the person. Like I'm not going. If I'm right about something, right? What does it prosper me to say I'm right, you wrong? What does it? It doesn't do anything for me because I know
Right.
the true answer. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
not like me just saying I'm right, you wrong, and then leave it like that. No, you have to give the other person the opportunity to realize if they capable of doing that, acknowledging that what, and they got to be humble. That's what humble come in. Humility.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I know that there's men who do it all the time. Men who do it all the time. They'll to diffuse it, to stop it, because it'd be an argument back and forth and whatever, and both of you are trying to prove that you're right because you know you're right because you have the data or you have the information or you personally know 100% you know you're fucking right. And then the other person's like, no, I'm right. And it just so happens to be the opposite of what you're saying. So as a man, you'd be like, a lot of times men will be like, you know what? Okay, yeah, fine. You're right. You're right. You're right.
So
And
so
then it ends right then and there.
I got to ask you that question since I asked Chef. Do you have the ability to say
Yeah, I
you're
fucking
wrong
do
when
it
you know
all the
you?
time.
Okay.
I
See
fucking
me,
do
I
it
got to be all.
nonstop all the
See me,
time.
I I got to keep it. I got to keep it all the way funky, man. Like for the most part, no. You know what? It's either yes or no answer. So I do not have the ability because if I know, so occasionally I do, right? But this is about overall.
Yeah,
Overall, no. If I know I'm in the right and you wrong, no. I got to let you know that. It's either you listen to what I got to say, you let me tell you or explain to you how you're wrong, or I'm going to remove myself from the situation, which a lot of women don't like that either when you just walk away. But that's the approach I take. It's either I'm going to tell you how it is. If you can't take it, I'm going to go get me some me time
Yeah,
because
well, I'm not gonna beat I'm not gonna beat my answer into someone else's head, because the more I try to do that, the more they're gonna shut down. The more they're gonna knuckle down, and they're gonna be like, "Nope, I'm right, you're wrong," and then it becomes a stalemate. You're trying to educate them, they're trying to tell you, "No, I'm not going to accept what you're saying," no matter how much evidence you propose to them to prove them that they're wrong. At that point, it's just a wrap. You're right, fine, you're right, and then
now
you
now
walk
now
away.
now I got you. But at the same time, I don't see a benefit in always submitting. Remember earlier we
Well,
talked about
I'm not
submission.
saying every single time. I'm just
Okay,
saying a bunch of times. Sometimes you don't have to be the winner. You don't
right
have
now
to
now
win.
now
You don't
I
have to be
do
right every time.
I do agree with that, and that's what I say. Occasionally, I do take that approach, but we look at that overall. Nah, I,
Mm.
I'm just you wrong, and you know it. I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong, and then when you start saying stuff that don't even make sense, I'm gonna let you know what you're saying don't make sense, and that's just me overall, the big picture
Yeah.
and the grand scheme of things. That's it. You wanted to say something, Chef, before we get off here?
No, you good. I just wanted to
Okay.
chime in.
And I don't know if you ever been on his podcast, Danny, but his be at 6:30. Um, it's
I ain't
he
never been
changed
on his podcast, too.
it.
Chef? No, I ain't
It
never
used
been
to
on Chef.
it used to be the What's Cooking podcast is now from the Battle to the Glory podcast. He switched it up because he's more spiritual and it's that market his brand a little bit more.
I'm
So
not. I'm not as spiritual. I think that he would be very frustrated with me.
No, I really wouldn't. I urge you to come on and check and take a dive into what we talk about. We talk about real life stuff, real life conversations, but it's faith based. And but what happens is it brings a different perspective to everybody's understanding, but it's not my own way. You know what I'm saying? So it's when he say spiritual, you know, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. Everybody don't believe in that, but guess what? You a human. You are a human being that can understand the difference between right and wrong. And no matter how you want to, and unless you're a person that the wall is white and you saying it's green, that's something totally different. If you
Mhm.
can't understand it and grasp that the wall is really white, but you want to be controversial and say it's green, then that's something totally different. That means that you won't even get the understanding of what I'm saying, because most people don't understand. Spiritual is spiritual, natural is natural. We human, so sometimes you only can see things with the natural eye, not the spiritual eye, because you're not spiritually connected. That doesn't mean that I'm better, you're less than me. No, that's not what I'm saying. Everybody has a spirit. We all connected because that's why we human. We're
right,
Yeah,
connected
well,
with the spirit. And
people
so
seem to forget that.
yeah,
and they look at the
A
religion
lot of
part,
people forget
right?
that.
And they look at the religion part, they look at race, they look at culture. Spiritual is spiritual. Now, I remind you what I just said. Spiritual is spiritual. You don't look at all that. You understand me?
right,
But then when you get to the natural part, that's where the confusion gets in, and it
right,
plays a part because you're looking at it from a natural eye, what you actually can see. But the spiritual is something within.
Yeah,
right.
I run my life on the best I can, morality and logic.
Right. All right, guys. So that's going to conclude today's episode. I hope anybody that's been watching, whether that's was live or they catch it on the replay, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Just make sure you tune in to other episodes I got in the works. I got one tonight. Have one on Sunday.
It's delayed,
Somebody
but
just,
it's tonight.
yeah. So somebody just texted me about booking something for the 20th. I got to look at my calendar and see if that fits in my schedule. But to the viewers, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate everybody. Peace, love, happy grease, and all that good shit. But we out of here.